Welcome to episode 81 of our Sperduti Fitness podcast. I'm your host, Brian. I'm here with my co-host, Beth. Before we jump into today's podcast topic, Coach Beth's going to take us through a few announcements.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. You guys, you know, the Sperduti Fitness 12-week transformation challenge has launched and it's open for the next enrollment with that $500 cash prize going to our winner. This is the first transformation program to combine fitness and nutrition education. The next transformation challenge starts on September 18th. Head on over to the Sperduti Fitness Facebook page, or you can check out our website, www.sperdutifitness.com, to find out more about the transformation. And of course, you'll also have the option to download our free app, and it's available on the Apple and Android platforms. So grab a friend, get yourself enrolled, and let's start your transformation. Now, Brian, let's get into that topic.
This is actually a topic that I'm surprised we haven't covered yet because it's so important when it comes to weight loss sustainability. And I always say, I think we do it, not us, but I think in general, society does a decent job of weight loss, but a horrible job of weight loss sustainability. And one of the main factors of that is because they don't incorporate what they call a reverse or recovery diet. Now, a reverse diet or recovery diet is a structured and gradual approach to increase in caloric intake after a period of sustained caloric restriction, often associated with dieting or weight loss. The goal of a reverse diet is to help individuals transition from a caloric deficit phase to a maintenance or muscle building phase while minimizing negative metabolic adaptations, weight gain, and other potential adverse effects. The concept behind a reverse diet is to allow the body to adapt to a higher caloric intake over time, rather than just abruptly increasing calories, which can lead to rapid weight gain or other metabolic issues. And here's how you would typically incorporate a reverse diet. You would gradually increase calories. You would monitor and adjust along the way. You'll focus on macronutrients. It'll also help support hormone balance. It'll help you preserve muscle mass. And ultimately, it will help you with long-term weight loss sustainability. Now, let's go back and talk a little bit about each one because it's a lot there. And you know what's crazy is we've been incorporating reverse diets and recovery diets with people for such a long time. And those are the people that you tend to see hold the longest or hold their weight loss maintenance, keep that weight off long-term because you're increasing their metabolic capacity. You know, they can eat more food. You can't eat. When you lose weight, you're going to decrease your calories, right? You're going to be in a caloric deficit. You can't stay there forever. So you'll gradually increase calories. Instead of immediately jumping to a higher caloric intake, you know, hey, I won that weight loss challenge. I was eating X amount of calories. Let's go get a blooming onion. Like, that's not how it works. Like, a reverse diet involves slowly increasing your caloric intake over a period of weeks or months in some cases. The specific rate of an increase depends on the individual factors, including metabolism goals, current caloric intake. What we usually do is once a client has reached their weight loss goal or even their body composition goal, each week they'll still weigh themselves in, and then we'll slowly increase their calories and monitor their rate of weight gain. So if we monitor the rate of weight gain, we know that they're just not putting on weight, they're putting back on minimal body fat to help hold all the hard work that all the goals that they've reached, all the body composition goals they've reached along the way.
Absolutely. One thing I love to point out to people is the second they start to think about adding calories back in, there's this fear of calories and what's going to happen. And it's so important to know this is your body now recovering and coming back into that new phase. Like, this is the new phase. You can't be there forever, like you said. And I love to remind people too, like, when you see the number change on the scale, it is not necessarily always fat gain. It is, you know, if you're consuming more calories, you're just putting a higher volume of food in your body, of your energy into your body. So yeah, you're going to see that number move a bit, and it's normal.
Yeah, and one thing, just to before we go any farther into this topic, and I know Coach Beth will agree with me here too, recovery and reverse diets aren't just for people who have reached their body comp goal or weight loss goal.
Yes.
When we work with clients, the first thing we do is a minimum of a 2-week assessment with clients to see where you currently are calorically, because you may enter into a recovery diet right off the bat. I know we've worked with clients, you'll meet with them and they're consuming 800 calories. Well, you can't go into a fat loss phase. You can't go into caloric deficit. That's dangerous. So what we'll actually do is have clients start off in a recovery phase, and it's the ones that can get over the hurdle of understanding they need to increase their food. And
Well,
then
it's almost how we can say, when we do say trust the process, like there's really scientific things behind what has to happen in order for you to reach your goals. It's not a pill, it's not a potion, it's not restrict, restrict, restrict. It's let's take the data, let's find out how long have you been eating this many calories, like this few calories, because it may take you a little bit longer. It's really just to, rework that body into using those calories that are coming in again. And that's where it comes into what Brian talked about, monitoring and adjusting throughout the whole reverse diet process. We closely monitor changes in your body composition, your weight, your energy levels, and other relevant factors. And we make adjustments to the caloric intakes that need to be made based on how your body responds. The goal is to be able to find that right balance between increasing calories and minimizing that unwanted gain. And I'll tell you what, I have done a reverse diet myself. Brian, I know you have. And it's something that is amazing to watch your body go through, especially the first few times you've ever done it, to see like, wow, why am I increasing my weight or increasing my calories, but my weight's moving and it's coming down. And it's such a unique thing to see, and especially when people understand and let it happen and trust the process, we'll see the results.
Absolutely. And also another area we can focus on with reverse dieting or recovery dieting is macronutrients. So in addition to increasing overall calorie intake, a reverse diet may involve adjusting macronutrient ratios, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats to support muscle retention and overall health. So sometimes instead of just saying increase your calories, sometimes we may say, all right, Coach Beth and I may look and go, all right, we're going to increase this client's intake this upcoming week by 10%. And that works out to X amount of calories. But that breaks down into, hey, increase your fat by 5 grams, increase your protein by 20, and increase your carbs by 25. So you can also increase through your reverse diet, you can increase those macronutrients. And that also helps when it comes to building someone's protein intake up. Like if they're struggling, you slowly increase it so they don't feel so overwhelmed when they can't reach that goal.
And while you're in that reverse diet, it's so important to make sure that you are supporting your hormone balance. A reverse diet can help restore hormonal imbalance or hormonal balance that might have been disrupted during a period of caloric restriction. This can positively impact hormones related to your metabolism, appetite regulation, and your overall well-being.
A lot of people don't get that too. A lot of people don't understand that, calorie intake is much more, even resistance training and other things aren't just for look or aren't just for certain things. There's a hormonal aspect of it. There's a ton of other things that go into it outside of just like weight loss or weight gain, right? And a big factor in increasing and this is very big, and we have a section on this that we're going to go over. This is a very big part of reverse and recovery dieting, especially working with clients right off the bat who are under eating, is preserving muscle mass. By gradually increasing calories and ensuring adequate protein intake, let me say that again, protein intake, a well-structured reverse diet can help prevent excess muscle loss that may occur during an extended period of a caloric deficit. When you're in a deficit for a long period of time, you're going to see a little bit of muscle mass loss. Hopefully during a reverse, we can help increase your rate of muscle gain or slow down that process of muscle loss or gain some of that back. And that's super, super important.
And it leads us into long-term sustainability. The ultimate goal of a reverse diet, where we're aiming, is to establish a sustainable eating pattern that can be maintained over the long term. And it can help individuals transition from this restrictive mindset to a healthier and more balanced approach to nutrition.
Yeah, and remember that the concept of a reverse diet is based on the premise of a gradual, sustainable changes. And that's the thing too. You don't want to do everything at once. You don't want to just go, all right, I was eating 1,600 calories up to 3,000. It's a gradual increase over time. While it can be a useful strategy for some individuals, the key to long-term health and well-being lies in finding a balanced approach to nutrition and lifestyle that supports your individual needs and goals. So it's very important if you want to see long-term weight loss sustainability, if you want to get your hormones back on track, if you want to minimize muscle loss and all those other things we talked about, it's very important to incorporate a reverse or recovery diet because you cannot be in a significant deficit for extended period of time because you will run into some issues such as muscle loss and things like that.
And there is some major importance of a reverse diet post weight loss. And it does have some effects on your body composition, your weight gain, and your caloric intake. So the reverse diet, it's this gradual and controlled increase in your caloric intake after a period of sustained weight loss. And it's commonly used to help individuals transition from a calorie restricted phase, such as a weight loss diet, to a maintenance or muscle building phase, while minimizing potential negative effects on body composition and metabolism. I want to give you guys a breakdown of the importance of reverse diet and its effect on your body composition, weight gain, and caloric intake. Metabolic adaptation, your hormone balance, preventing rapid weight gain, muscle preservation, physiological benefits, and long-term sustainability, monitoring and adjustments, individual variability.
And the first one we'll look at is metabolic adaptation. And you hear this actually a lot. This became very popular a couple of years ago. There's been debate about this word and the way what it actually means. But during a prolonged caloric deficit, when you're in a weight loss phase, the body's metabolism can adapt by slowing down to conserve energy. This is often referred to as metabolic adaptation, or they call it starvation mode. Some people don't like to call it that, but it's metabolic adaptation. A reverse diet helps to gradually increase caloric intake, allowing the metabolism to adjust more smoothly to a higher energy intake without causing abrupt weight gain. Now, one point I want to make here is when I just mentioned about, the body's metabolism can adapt and slow down to conserve energy. A lot of the times when you're in a significant deficit, especially with women, if you're eating too little, if your caloric intake is too low, your body will start shutting down non-vital functions to support vital functions, which means you'll probably stop getting your period. And
Yeah.
that's something I've noticed with clients that we've worked with that have come from super restrictive programs where, you'll ask, well, my hair was falling out and I stopped getting my period. That's not a good thing. That means your caloric intake is way too low.
Even realize that being in that low calorie deficit for that long has created these negative impacts on their body because they're so used to it. So they think this is how I should feel. This is, you're not sleeping, you have no energy, you're miserable. Your hormone balance is way off. This caloric restriction with weight loss can impact your hormone levels, your leptin, ghrelin, your thyroid hormones, which play crucial roles in your appetite regulation and metabolism. A properly executed reverse diet can help restore that hormone balance, supporting better appetite control and your metabolic function.
And this is what Coach Beth and I talk about when we say trust the process. When we work with clients, I love this topic. Like I'm so surprised we haven't tackled this yet. Like when we work with clients and we advise that, hey, maybe you should go into a recovery phase before you try to enter a dieting phase. Now, here's the thing. Coach Beth and I are looking for safe, sustainable weight loss. If you come to us, you're eating 800 calories and you want to lose weight, we can just go drop it to 500, do 6 days of cardio for an hour. You'll keep losing. Let's do it. And you'll lose weight. You'll also lose muscle mass. Your hormones will all be all messed up. You know what I mean? Your BMR will be all jacked up. We're like, hey, let's get you to a safe place to start losing weight before we do that. So it may take time. And with everybody, it's different. It may take 6, 7, 8 months with some people, but we're giving you the best chance to achieve not only weight loss, but long-term weight loss sustainability.
Long term.
And exactly. And recovery diets, reverse diets are great for preventing rapid weight gain. Jumping straight from a caloric restricted diet to a high calorie diet can lead to rapid weight gain due to the body's heightened sensitivity to surplus calories. So when a lot of people do weight loss programs, they lose the weight. That company gets your after picture with your before picture, puts it up on billboards, and then they really don't give you any guidance of what you should do next. So as we would think, you would go, oh, I must have to eat at this 1,000-calorie diet the rest of my life. And it's like, oh no, I can't do this anymore. And then you notice yourself binging, and then you notice yourself falling totally off the wagon. And then what do? You join the program again, right? Or it's I reached this goal, I'm going to go celebrate, and I'm going to go start eating back to my old habits again because I've reached my goal. So there's no education when it comes to weight loss sustainability. So reverse diets help to prevent sudden weight gain by allowing the body, like I said, to adjust to a higher caloric intake over time.
And of course, we want to preserve that muscle. You work so hard to build that muscle. As we're getting older, you have to make sure you are preserving it. Increasing your caloric intake gradually can assist in preserving your lean muscle mass. When you're in a calorie deficit, there's a risk of losing both fat and muscle tissue. So the reverse diet provides the body with the nutrients it needs to support muscle maintenance and growth.
And then we're looking at the physiological benefits. After a period of strict dieting, some individuals may experience physiological changes when it comes to transitioning to a higher caloric intake. A reverse diet can help alleviate anxiety and fear around food. That's so huge. It allows
we got to talk about that. That's right.
I know. It allows for a controlled and structured approach to increasing calories. And I've done a reverse diet many of times. And it really does, when you have a structure in place of how you're going to increase your calories from week to week. And also, we shouldn't even say fear around food. It should be alleviate anxiety, because you were taught properly how to incorporate flexible nutrition into your program, and you're able to increase the amount of foods that you like into your nutrition plan while still maintaining, that weight loss while increasing calories.
Fear of calories is real.
Mm-hmm.
There is such a community out there. It just needs to take the time to learn about what your calories are. The calories are the energy that your body uses for your day. Like, hello, it is your energy source. Your calories are your energy source. So if you are so restrictive because you just want to weigh a certain number, there's really has to be a mindset change. And where we talked about habits, because habits are what really put us in the positions that we're in, and they can take us in different ways that we want to be. And it's really paying attention to what our habits are, because that's part of our psychological part of this, where it's that either the anxiety of eating food or the fear around food. So, it's not about controlling and restrictive. It's about learning, how much do I need? How much am I supposed to have? What does my body do with that? Oh, let me take that data and make some new decisions. I'm going to track that and make decisions because I want to have the healthiest body that I possibly can have. That's what I love to teach my clients. And it helps them with that long-term sustainability. One of the primary goals of that reverse diet is to establish sustainable eating patterns that can be maintained over long-term, over the rest of your life. Gradually reintroducing calories in a structured manner can help prevent that yo-yo dieting cycle and promote healthier relationship with food.
That's really big too, is that that's ultimately our goal, is when you do safe, sustainable weight loss and you're educated a bit on nutrition, one, we hope that you develop a better relationship with food and build a healthy relationship with it as well. You learn about it and then you build a healthier relationship with it because you're not afraid of it. And again, like we talked about above, monitor and adjusting. Reverse diet involves closely monitoring changes in body composition, weight, and energy levels. This allows for adjustments to be made as needed, ensuring that the rate of caloric increase aligns with an individual's goals and responses. So meaning, we may get to a point in a reverse, like I've had clients where we were really able to push their metabolic capacity, meaning we were really able to increase their calories. And then it gets to a point where they're weighing themselves in, we're doing some increases from week to week. And then after a while, we're like, all right, let's pull back a little bit. Okay, I think we've hit our limit. I think we've hit our limit of increase. And then, but you don't know that unless you're able to maintain that rate of weight gain that you're seeing. If the rate of weight gain starts increasing, you need to know enough to pull back those calories and find like a sweet spot of where you want to keep them.
Absolutely. And like you said, it's different with every client. So paying attention to that individual variability. It's important to note that the effects of a reverse diet are different from person to person. Some factors like your genetics, your current metabolism, your exercise routine, and your starting point are going to influence your outcomes. In
Yeah.
summary, oh, did you want
No,
to
go
add to
ahead.
that?
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
In summary, a well-executed reverse diet is important for transitioning from a weight loss phase to a maintenance or muscle building phase while minimizing negative effects on metabolism, body composition, and your overall well-being. It provides a structured approach to increasing caloric intake gradually, allowing the body to adapt and achieve sustainable long-term results. If you are considering a reverse diet, it is advisable to work with a qualified professional, fitness professional, dietitian, who can help tailor the process to your individual needs and goals.
And just to really drive home that point, about the extreme bouts of low caloric intakes or extreme long-term bouts of dieting, because we see this so much in society. I want to talk a bit about, long-term bouts of caloric deficits on your weight, how it affects weight, muscle retention, and BMR. Long-term extreme caloric deficits can have significant effects on weight, muscle retention, and basal metabolic rate. That's your BMR. So your BMR stands for basal metabolic rate. It is the number of calories your body needs to maintain basic functions at rest, such as breathing, circulating blood, and regulating body temperature. BMR represents the minimum amount of energy required to sustain life without any additional physical activity. It's important to note that extreme and prolonged caloric deficits can lead to various negative outcomes. So it's generally recommended to pursue sustainable and balanced approaches to weight loss and weight loss maintenance. Here are some of the potential effects long-term extreme caloric deficits can have on you. Weight loss and muscle loss. Basal metabolic rate BMR adaptation. Hormonal changes. Physiological and emotional effects. Nutrient deficiencies. Long-term weight loss sustainability. And exercise performance. And we're going to go back and just talk about each one a little bit to give you a little more of an in-depth look at each. And the first one is weight loss and muscle loss. So initially, a severe caloric deficit can lead to rapid weight loss, but that's also including both fat and muscle mass. That's why we like to monitor body composition change, weight loss, and make sure we're not being too aggressive when it comes to that, because again, we want to look at fat loss, not just weight loss. As the deficit continues, the body may increasingly break down muscle tissue for energy, leading to muscle loss. I cannot emphasize, if we could highlight, I want to highlight 73 things in this, but if we could highlight anything, super extreme aggressive deficits for long periods of time will result in muscle loss, which we're going to get into
Tonight.
Yeah, we're going to get into that also. Muscle loss can negatively impact overall body composition, strength, and physical performance.
Your BMR, that basal metabolic rate, can have an adaptation. Prolonged extreme caloric deficit can lead to metabolic adaptation, where your body's metabolism slows down to conserve energy. This adaptation can also lower your BMR, which is the number of calories your body burns at rest. I don't think a lot of people know that the amount of calories that they're consuming for their total day are really almost their BMR. And I'm like, wow, you're eating your BMR for your daily life. And, it's really eye-opening to try to teach people that that's what your body needs to just function for basic. And now you want to add in resistance training. You want to add in all this exercise because you want to get stronger and bigger. We got to start here with where you're at. That's your start point. A decreased BMR makes it more challenging to sustain weight loss and may contribute to some weight gain once your normal eating is resumed.
And just to go back on a point that we were talking about earlier, when we're working with some new clients that come from extreme aggressive long bouts of caloric deficits, your BMR has changed. Your body has now said, I'm perfectly fine at functioning at 800 calories. So you know what happens when you eat 900 calories or 1,000 calories? You start to gain weight. That's why it's very important to incorporate a reverse or recovery diet, because if you're eating that low of calories for that long period of time, you probably have other issues going on, whether it be physical, whether it be mental, you have other things going on. So we have to work those calories back up to a safe range. You will see a little bit of weight gain in a reverse diet, which is totally normal, but the benefits of incorporating a reverse diet is there's just so many benefits to doing that. But it is true that like when you eat very low for long bouts of time, your body just adapts to that. And that's why it's very hard to lose weight. So that's why we say, if you come to us and you're only eating 800 calories, well, we can't take you to 5. We want you to be healthy, you know? Yeah. Along with that are hormonal changes. Prolonged caloric restriction can disrupt hormonal balance, leading to changes in hormones like leptin, ghrelin, thyroid hormones, and sex hormones. Hormonal imbalances can affect appetite regulation, energy expenditure, and muscle preservation.
And I don't think people realize the amount of issues that can pop up to hormones when eating that low. It's not really something that's talked about in general population. So it's so important for people to understand that, you know, especially as for us as professionals, when we're saying, hey, I think it's important for us to increase your calories, it's not because we're trying to keep you in our program longer. We want to make sure that we are helping you learn how to balance those changes in your body. I have a client, the first month she started with me, one of the things she said after we started really she was getting so consistent, she did great. She said, all of my menopause symptoms have gone away since I started working with you. And I was like, yeah, because we're working on making sure that you're consistently getting the things that you need in your body to work and balance out your hormones. So that for me was fantastic. And, you know, that leads into those psychological and emotional effects. Extreme caloric deficits can contribute to increased stress and anxiety, irritability, and mood swings. Severe dietary restrictions can lead to an unhealthy relationship with food, eating disorders, and a negative body image. There are so many influencers out on social media right now that want to sell you their product instead of just saying, wow, let's get some science and learn about your body and use the data to make appropriate decisions, which is really what it can boil down to.
Yeah, and another big effect of long bouts of caloric deficits are nutrient deficiencies. You know, extreme caloric deficits can limit the intake of essential nutrients, which are important for overall health, immune function, and muscle maintenance. You know, nutrient deficiencies can negatively impact energy levels, muscle recovery, and overall health and well-being. And I don't think people, like we said, you can lose weight. We don't have a problem with people losing weight. We want you to lose weight the healthiest way possible. We can give you low caloric intakes, have you do a ton of cardio, and you're going to run into nutrition deficiencies. You're going to run into these hormone imbalances. We're trying to minimize that effect. That's why we're very cautious when we're, you know, advising clients like when to reduce calories, when to increase calories, and what steps to take. Like Coach Beth said, we don't just want to keep you as a client. We want you to have the healthiest version of yourself.
Yeah. We want you to learn that. We want you to be able to take those strategies so that when you are ready to walk away from us, then you can make those decisions on your own. That's what your program should be doing. And it's so important because that long-term sustainability, maintaining an extreme caloric deficit over the long term can be challenging, and it often leads to unsustainable eating habits. Again, that risk of yo-yo dieting, where weight loss is lost and regained repeatedly, increases with this extreme caloric restriction.
Yeah, and ultimately it's going to have an effect on exercise performance. I always say you can't feed a pit bull puppy chow. So if you're trying to go out there and you're trying to, that should be a t-shirt. That should be another Sperduti Fitness t-shirt. If you have these expectations of going out and doing these intense exercise programs and you're on a low calorie diet for long periods of time, the energy level is going to be crushed, and quite frankly, your exercise performance is going to be diminished. Like intense or prolonged physical activities may become super difficult. to sustain, just further impacting muscle retention and overall fitness. So you have to eat to perform. You have to feed the machine, right? Just be smart
Yeah.
about it.
And then it brings us to the different effects of long-term extreme bouts of these caloric deficits with muscle retention and even the loose skin. Long-term extreme caloric deficits can have a significant effect on muscle retention and the potential for loose skin. While extreme caloric deficits may lead to rapid weight loss, it's important to consider the potential negative consequences and aim for a balanced approach to weight management. I wanted to give you guys some of the potential effects of long-term extreme caloric deficits on muscle retention and loose skin. There's muscle retention. Loose skin can affect your collagen and elasticity, hydration and nutrition, gradual weight loss and muscle preservation, body composition changes, and of course, consulting with a professional.
And the first one we'll tackle is just muscle retention. As we've talked about throughout this podcast, and you'll hear us repeat it over and over because we're really trying to drive the point home. Prolonged and severe caloric deficits can lead to muscle loss, and the body seeks energy from muscle tissue. If you aren't eating enough for long periods of time, the body's going to go after that delicious muscle for energy. That's what happens. Muscle loss can result in decreased strength, diminished physical performance, and change in body composition. Also, inadequate protein intake during extreme caloric deficits further increase the risk of muscle breakdown.
My clients are probably so sick of hearing the word protein come out of my
I
mouth.
know.
But if I need to eat more protein, bigger piece
Yeah.
of that piece of the protein, what's your portion size? Increase that portion size.
Mm-hmm.
And protein. And of course, some things that happen during weight loss phases, loose skin. Rapid and significant weight loss, often associated with extreme caloric deficits, can lead to loose or sagging skin. The skin elasticity can be compromised when weight is lost rapidly, and the skin doesn't have sufficient time to adjust to the changes in body size. The extent of loose skin can be influenced by factors such as your genetics, age, your initial body composition, your hydration levels, and the duration of extreme caloric deficits.
Yeah, and we're not saying that you're not going to have loose skin, but we can also try to minimize the amount of loose skin if you're losing weight properly and at a safe rate of weight loss. And again, that talking back about collagen and elasticity, collagen, a protein that provides structure and elasticity to the skin, can be affected by extreme caloric deficits and rapid weight loss. In cases of extreme prolonged caloric restriction, the body may prioritize energy conservation over maintaining optimal skin health and elasticity.
That's for real.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like you eat your protein, you're going to turn into Arnold. Protein is basically how your body rebuilds itself and takes care of itself on the inside. And it is so important to pay attention to your protein intake, which leads us to talk about hydration and nutrition. Proper hydration and adequate nutrition plays a crucial role in skin health and elasticity. Severe caloric deficits and inadequate nutrient intake can impact your skin hydration, potentially exacerbating the appearance of your skin.
Yeah, and also gradual weight loss and muscle preservation. Gradual and moderate weight loss allows the skin more time to adjust to changes in body composition, potentially reducing the risk of excess loose skin. And a very important factor here is incorporating strength training and resistance training into your weight loss plan. That can help preserve muscle mass and improve overall body composition.
I think that's one of my favorite things too, is the importance of using that resistance training, because you do not have to do the amounts of cardio people think you have to do in order to lose weight. And preserving that muscle mass during that phase is so important. So being able to continue through resistance training with the protein, so important. And yes, there can be some body composition changes. So even if weight loss is achieved through this extreme caloric deficit, the loss may be a combination of fat, muscle, and water. And this can totally impact the overall body shape and appearance. So a lot of times people when they're in these phases, they just want to see this number change on the scale. It's the only thing that matters. I want to see that number. I want to be this specific number for my weight loss. And they get to that number and they're like, well, where's my booty? Where's all my muscle that's supposed to be here? Well, if you weren't prioritizing certain things during your weight loss phase, you're not going to find it.
Yeah. And of course, consultations with a professional are always important. If you're concerned about loose skin or muscle loss during a weight loss, consider consulting with a healthcare professional, trainer, doctor, registered dietitian, fitness expert. They can help you design a balanced, sustainable approach to weight loss, both nutrition and resistance training based, focused on preserving muscle mass, promoting skin health, and minimizing the risk of loose skin.
Now, we talked a little bit about hormones before, but we're going to really talk about hormones now. How these long bouts of extreme dieting can affect our estrogen and progesterone levels. Extreme and prolonged dieting, especially those involving very low caloric intake or rapid weight loss, can potentially have effects on your estrogen and progesterone levels in the body. Hormonal changes can occur as a result of nutritional deficiencies, stress, and changes in body composition. Hear how extended periods of extreme dieting can affect estrogen and progesterone levels. With these estrogen levels, your progesterone levels, hormonal imbalances can be created. Your stress and your cortisol levels, the effects of bone health.
Yeah, and just to talk a little bit about those estrogen levels and how they're affected with extreme bouts of caloric deficiencies. Estrogen is a group of hormones that play a vital role in the menstrual cycle, bone health, and various physiological processes. Extreme dieting can lead to changes in estrogen levels due to the alterations in body fat percentages. Estrogen is produced in fat cells, and rapid weight loss or very low body fat levels can disrupt normal balance. Low estrogen levels can lead to an irregular menstrual cycle, amenorrhea, or even complete loss of a menstrual cycle, a condition known as hypothalamic amenorrhea. Irregular or absent menstrual cycles due to low estrogen levels can have implications for fertility, bone health, and overall hormonal balance. And this is how, this is what we're just talking about, where, I want to lose weight, I'm going to cut calories. You got to be smart about it. You can't be, you know what I mean? Because there's other, yes, you're going to lose weight, but you're going to run into a ton of other factors. And bone density, too little caloric intake, bone density issues,
And the other hormone that we were talking about was the progesterone levels. Progesterone is another important hormone involved in the menstrual cycle and pregnancy. Extreme dieting and rapid weight loss can impact the production and balance of progesterone, leading to irregular or absent menstrual cycles. Reduced progesterone levels can also affect the uterine lining and the ability to conceive and maintain a pregnancy.
Yeah, and overall hormonal imbalances, prolonged and severe caloric deficits can lead to hormonal imbalances and disruptions in the hypothalamic pituitary gondolial axis, which regulates the reproductive hormones. Nutrient deficiencies associated with extreme dieting can further contribute to hormonal irregularities.
And those other hormonal irregularities, stress, cortisol, this extreme dieting and excessive exercise without adequate recovery can lead to chronic stress in the body, which can affect the balance of other hormones, including your cortisol. Elevated cortisol levels due to chronic stress can indirectly impact estrogen and progesterone levels, potentially leading to hormonal disturbances.
And this is why we track stress, why we track sleep when it comes to clients, because it's so much more. What I think's interesting, just a side note, I really think in 10 years from now, when you go to the doctors, they're just going to be like, hey, print out your information for me and bring it in. Oh, I see that you've been consistently running at a stress level of 5. Oh, can we talk about that? Oh, you're constantly in a high stress state. Oh, this might be why you were dealing with irregular blah, blah, blah. Where's your caloric intake?
You just broke the internet with that one right there, Bri. Launch that one right there, because that's exactly why aren't these questions being asked in our doctor's offices? Like, honestly, that's a really great point. It's something that we look at every day with our clients. So why is that something that's not being taught in our small practices? That's
Yeah.
Really a great idea.
And just to play along with that, bone health, estrogen plays a crucial role in maintaining bone health, and its reduction due to extreme dieting can lead to decreased bone density and increased risk of osteoporosis over time. So my thing is, when you go to I'm not a doctor by any means, but when you go to a doctor's office and they're like, take this to help with bone density, I would be interested. It would be interested. I'm careful my wording. I would like to see, hey, what's your caloric intake look like? And are you incorporating any resistance training?
Absolutely.
That's what I was trying to get out there.
That's right on. And I would love to see that too. That's the basics.
Would you think we would look at these things before going right to a medication? Because they tried and true work. Like, resistance training works, proper nutrition intake works. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, then paired with a medication, but
the work.
Yeah, exactly. That's do the work. Yeah, absolutely. Getting people to do the work instead of just giving a medication. And again, some people may need it. That's a whole different story. But people should be doing regular exercise. People should be monitoring their caloric intake. We should do that. It's just getting people to do that.
Well, it should be something that is known. I feel with the information and the things that I know now, every person should know their caloric intake and what it needs to be at maintenance, where you are at a surplus, and where you are for your deficit.
Yeah, if you could tell me who the last 7 bachelors were, you can tell me your caloric intake. Like,
yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Where you put your attention, where you put your effort, your attention will follow.
Mm-hmm.
So if your attention is always on just Netflix and chill, you won't have time for anything else. When you start to look at your own data, your own information, make yourself a priority, then you have everything in your hands, and you can start being in control of what's happening.
Absolutely. And that's
this changes habits.
Absolutely. And we don't expect you to do this stuff overnight. It takes time to do it, but it's just making people aware,
Mm-hmm.
And now to flip it on the other side, we're going to talk about how long bouts of extreme dieting can affect testosterone levels and the physical and mental effects that come with it. Extended periods of extreme dieting can potentially affect testosterone levels in both men and women, leading to a range of physical and mental effects. Testosterone is a hormone that plays a crucial role in various aspects of health, including muscle development, bone health, mood regulation, and reproductive function. Now, here's how prolonged extreme dieting can impact testosterone levels and the associated effects. It has a huge effect on testosterone levels overall. It has physical effects, mental effects, recovery and reversibility, and we're going to dig into each one a little bit and chat about it.
All right. Effects of your testosterone level. Severe caloric deficits, rapid weight loss, nutrient deficiencies can disrupt the hormonal balance in the body, potentially leading to changes in testosterone levels. Testosterone production can be influenced by factors such as your energy intake, how many calories you're consuming, nutrient availability, wide variety of foods, flexible dieting, flexible nutrition, body composition, and your stress levels.
And some of the physical effects include muscle loss. Low testosterone levels can contribute to muscle loss and decreased muscle strength, affecting physical performance and overall body composition. Fatigue and low energy. Testosterone plays a role in energy levels, and low levels can lead to an increased fatigue and reduced motivation for physical activity. Bone health. Adequate testosterone levels are important for maintaining bone density. Low levels can increase the risk of osteoporosis and bone fractures. Metabolism. Testosterone helps regulate metabolism. Low levels can lead to a decrease in your metabolic rate, potentially making weight management more challenging. And libido and sexual function. Testosterone is a key factor in sexual desire and function. Low levels can lead to reduced libido and sexual dysfunction.
There are also mental effects. Mood changes. Low testosterone levels can contribute to mood swings, irritability, and even depression. Your cognitive function. Testosterone is involved in your cognitive function, including memory and concentration. Low levels might impact your cognitive performance. Stress and anxiety. Hormone imbalances can contribute to increased stress and anxiety levels. Motivation and well-being. Testosterone can influence motivation, confidence, and overall well-being. Low levels might lead to decreased motivation and a sense of low self-esteem.
And then on top of that, we have recovery and reversibility. The effects of extreme dieting on testosterone levels can be reversible to some extent. When the body's allowed time to recover through a balanced and adequate nutrition plan, hormone levels may gradually return to normal. The rate of recovery varies depending on an individual factors, including the duration of extreme dieting, the degree of caloric restriction, and overall health.
It's important to emphasize that extreme and prolonged caloric deficits are generally not recommended due to the potential negative effects on hormones, metabolism, and overall health. But if you're concerned about the impact of dieting on testosterone levels and your own well-being, consider working with a healthcare professional, such as a doctor or even an endocrinologist. They can help assess your hormonal status and guide you toward a healthier approach to nutrition and exercise, and help you prioritize your long-term health and well-being. Now, one of my favorite parts about this, we're going to talk about some tips on how to incorporate a reverse recovery diet. Incorporating a reverse or recovery diet requires a thoughtful and gradual approach to transitioning from a calorie-restricted phase to a maintenance or muscle-building phase. So here are some tips to help you navigate this process effectively. Assess your current situation, increasing your calories gradually, prioritizing protein, monitoring your progress, include nutrient-dense foods, stay hydrated, incorporate strength training. You can practice mindful eating, patience and persistence, consulting a professional, focus on mental health, long-term sustainability, and listening to your body.
Yeah, and one of the big things is just assessing your current situation. Before starting reverse diet, take stock of your current caloric intake. Know where you currently are. Your weight, your body comp, your energy level. This will provide you a baseline for making adjustments.
And of course, increasing those calories gradually. You increase your daily caloric intake by small amounts, maybe by 50 to 100 calories every week. This gradual increase allows your metabolism to adapt more smoothly. One thing I notice is that when I work with clients and we have the conversation about, I feel like we could really work on increasing some calories. Let's work on a little bit of a recovery. This is a range we would like to start working towards. This is a caloric goal we want to start working towards. Okay, tomorrow I'll start eating 1,700 calories tomorrow because today I'm eating 200 calories. No. This is where we're going to work towards.
Yeah, that is so true. And like we always talk about, prioritize protein. Ensure that your protein intake remains adequate. Again, protein's essential for muscle prevention and recovery. Aim for a moderate to high protein intake to support your goals.
Get out that journal.
Yeah.
Monitor that progress. Self-reflection, keeping track of those changes in your weight, your body measurements, your energy levels, your mood, and making adjustments to your caloric intake based on how your body's responding, aiming for a slow and steady weight increase.
And remember to include nutrient-dense foods. Like I always say, stop treating flexible dieting like a 5-year-old on Halloween. We know better than that. Focus on high nutrient-dense foods that provide essential vitamins, minerals, and fiber. This supports overall health and well-being as you increase your caloric intake.
Keeping hydrated. That adequate hydration is crucial for overall health and can also help support metabolic processes during a reverse diet.
And of course, make sure to incorporate strength training. Incorporating resistance training into your routine to promote muscle retention and development. Building muscle can positively impact your metabolism and body composition.
It's like let's repeat, rinse, repeat, highlight. Strength training. Yes, it's going to help you build muscle. Strength training. It helps your metabolism and it changes that body composition. That's where the magic is at. And practicing some mindful eating, paying attention to your hunger or fullness cues, listening to your body, and eat in a way that feels satisfying and nourishing. I know for myself, I can't always listen to my body cues because I work from home, so my body cue knows what's in there. So for me, really working towards a balanced meal throughout the day, it helps me look forward to know that I'm going to eat at this time, this time, this time, and this time. And it helps me to be mindful about when I'm going to eat again.
And of course, be patient and persistent. The reverse diet process takes time. Be patient and persistent as you gradually increase your calories and monitor your changes over time. This could be a month, this could be 6 months, this could be, it just depends. Everybody's different.
And I'm always going to recommend working with a professional when you are thinking about incorporating a reverse diet. Working with fitness professionals that are specialized in being able to handle a reverse diet, talking with a dietitian or a nutritionist. They can help provide some personalized guidance based on your individual needs and goals.
And focus on mental health. Embrace a positive mindset and focus on the mental aspect of recovery. Overcoming dieting mindset and fears around weight gain are essential for long-term success, because I will say, when you do incorporate a reverse recovery diet, you may add a few pounds. You may add 3 or 4 pounds, but you're also adding in 600 to 700 calories. And if you notice with clients that I've worked with, we've added in, they would put on a couple pounds, but really have no change in body count. And that's the cool thing about it, because we monitor that rate of fat gain.
Yeah. Working on that long-term sustainability. Remember that the goal of a reverse diet is to establish a sustainable eating pattern so that you can maintain it over time. Avoiding that urge to rush the process or make drastic changes. You see that little bump on the scale? Play that game called Let It Ride.
Yeah. Yeah, the majority of time is just water. The majority of time is just water.
Cut all those calories out that you started eating because you saw movement on the scale. You have to let it ride. And it's amazing when your body is like, all of a sudden you're letting it ride, and comes back and you're like, wait, what? Like, those are the moments when clients are like, okay, so this really does work.
And listen to your body. Your body's responses and signals are a valuable guide as well. Adjust your approach based on how you feel and how your body's adapting. I know one of the times that I incorporated a reverse diet, the second week into it, I felt really low energy. So I went ahead and increased my calories a bit more. Weight didn't change, energy level went up. So it's a good cue to, it's good to know your physical, emotional, mental cues. If you're incorporating a reverse, especially it was coming out of a show, still not feeling like I'm off, just increasing that little bit did the trick.
What I love about the Sperduti Fitness virtual training app is that you can utilize all of those things in one place. You have a place to monitor your stress, your sleep, your nutrient intake, your exercise that you're doing. You have a place to jot your self-reflection, your notes, everything. It's all in one place. So if you guys don't have the app yet, make sure you download the Sperduti Fitness virtual training app, available on both the Apple and Android platforms. And you can track all of those things for yourself or your reverse diet in there.
Absolutely. And if you want to get a hold of Coach Beth, you can reach her at beth@sperdutifitness.com or myself at brian@sperdutifitness.com. Hopefully this podcast sheds some light on long-term weight loss sustainability, because we just gave you the keys on how to achieve long-term weight loss sustainability by incorporating a reverse or recovery diet, especially when coming off of a which you really shouldn't be in long-term deficits. We should be using diet breaks and stuff like that. But how to incorporate a recovery or reverse diet when coming out of a deficit. And again, a little bit of weight gain is not going to kill you, because we're pushing your caloric metabolic capacity as high as we can for long-term sustainability. You lost the weight, you may have been taking in 12 or 1400 calories. You reverse out after a couple weeks. You may have put on 6 pounds, but your caloric intake's now 18 to 2000. And now you can maintain that the rest of your life.
Right. And it gives you that room to build that booty you've always wanted.
Absolutely. So hopefully this podcast helped you guys out, and we will catch you guys next podcast.
Yeah.